Good afternoon, Mark. It's great to be back again in this podcasting business. I've been missing this opportunity to share with the audience some ideas that I have, concepts, some complaints, and some appreciations for my local community, Hot Springs, Arkansas, and yours are more global,
Mm.
more about the nation than Hot Springs. I've been here much longer than you, so I have more to say about Hot Springs than you've had time to
Yep,
opportunity to say.
well, that's fair enough. Thanks, Elmer. It's great having you back in the studio. Welcome to everybody to a conservative conversation. Elmer's got some things he'd like to talk about in terms of the local political scene and his relationships with the community here. And I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
I'm ready to begin at this time. I'm a member of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People here in Hot Spring National Park, Arkansas. And as a result of that, for our organization to be effective, we study situations where we have complaints or suits in our various schools in the Garland County where I live. One particular school district is Fountain Lake, and I want to mention it because without Fountain Lake ever having published its record in 2025, this school year, I believe it has dismissed two employees of the district resulting from racial discrimination. Well, what does that mean? That means that we are meaningful, we are successful, we make a difference as a National Association of Advancement of Colored People, and I'm proud that the superintendent school district in Fountain Lake has done what it has done. So we got some progress. We got some other things I want to talk about, but you have some national things to share with us too.
Yeah. Well, before we move on to the national scene, I'm curious about. At first, you were saying that some people have been
Dismissed,
dismissed
fired.
because of.
Racial discrimination toward a student, an African American student, with Fountain Lake being a majority,
Oh
very high
yeah.
percentage of a white community and a district.
Well, yeah. Now I understand what you mean. It's like you're seeing some progress.
I would say we'll see some progress.
We call it progress every time civil rights and people's human rights
Thank you
are
for mentioning it
validated.
that way. It's
Yeah.
not just a complaint. We see some progress being made, and it gives reason for our continuing to exist as a National Association of Advancement of Colored People
Yeah.
with the help of everybody involved in it.
So, are we to understand then that the reason that the school board took the action was because they were prompted to look into these matters from the NAACP?
That is correct.
Is
And
that
it
what you're
was
saying?
at the suggestion, the recommendation of its attorney and board that these two employees not be in the district anymore because of the behavior that they had exercised. And we are proud of the record that took place there. However, we have more work to do. In City of Hot Springs, where it so happened that my daughter is a member of the board of directors of the City of Hot Springs, and she served on the A&P Commission. That's the commission where Steve Harrison is director, and he's been there a great while. I've been a factor in the City of Hot Springs, the A&P Commission of Hot Springs, and
What's that? A and P?
that is the Arkansas Public Visitation and Service Commission, where we are responsible for the visitors that come to Hot Springs.
Yeah.
Advertising and promotion, I believe it would be called. He's going to soon be leaving, and I'm concerned about his replacement. And I have a statement that I'm going to make in the future about the replacement. I'm concerned about what kind of person that will replace him. He's been successful, very successful in advancing Hot Springs over the years, but we can even do better than we have done in the past. And that's my statement as my concern about the A&P Commission of City of Hot Springs.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll have a new director.
Yeah, I understand. So, the what do we call it now? A and P is
A&P, the advertising and promotion.
advertising and promotion.
Yeah, if you don't advertise, you can't promote.
Yeah. Right. We need to be able to see what's going on in the world, and in our local community, and that's is it a government?
That's private to the extent that the board of directors of the Advertising and Promotion Commission sets the salary and employ the commission, and the City of Hot Spring vote on the members of the board, and they're coming on and off, and some of them stay on there a very, very long time, and
Mm-hmm.
it should be a concern, and it is a concern of the community where the Advertising and Promotion Commission is located, because it's in the area of the black community, far away from where the commissioners live. That makes it important for us who live near the convention center, and we should be concerned about the development of it, because at one time it was all residential and now it's business, and that makes it a concern of mine, and I would hope for listeners in locally that it would be a concern of theirs also.
Yeah.
You want to know who's going to be next in line as the director.
So
as
how
the CEO.
how often do people get replaced, and what's the next? In the
There's no time limit on it. You can be there 6, 8, 10, 15, 20 years as,
Okay.
as director, but board members, they have the system of 2, 4, 6 years, and they could be there 12, 15 years also.
Okay. Yeah. So, but we're looking for some turnover in the near
We're
future.
looking for some turnover with the director, and I hope some turnover with the board members,
Mm-hmm.
because we want to be heard in the local community. Again, the members of the commission don't live near the community where the commission meets, or where the convention center is, and
All
they
right.
don't know how we feel if we don't tell them. We're concerned about the preservation of our community and recognizing the history of our community from the convention center to Grand Avenue. We don't want to ever have it implied that that area should not be continually be respected. It's part of the history of Hot Springs that we should not forget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're hoping that the people that are on the board are representative by proximity. They're in the correct neighborhood.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Or if they don't live near it, study it,
Mhm.
because they're
To
on
be-
the
to be-
ground. I refer to it as holy ground. Know something about how that center got there, and the area around it that once was human beings who didn't look like board members. I think I made a strong point there.
You say it didn't look like board members because of the color of their skin? Is
That was
the
correct.
graphic? Yeah.
That was correct. Now, we would hope that as long as there is a Advertising and Promotion Commission, there will be a representative from the district that looks like the district did before there was a commission. There should always be a representative from District 2 or the neighborhood
Mm-hmm.
on the commission
Yeah.
until Christ comes back forever.
And what?
Until Christ returns. If it lasts that long.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to the commission being there always, and I want to be sure that we get the record straight about it, how the commission came to existence. You have to have groundwork in our building. You got to have people before you have any kind of action in there. That's a concern of mine. I want to be sure I made that point at the end of the year of 2025.
You and I, the last time we were together, we discussed the some awareness that I became aware of the fact that there are some white people who live in Arkansas who have decided that it's helpful and important and valuable to them to start a whites only community.
That is correct.
And you and I were discussing maybe whether or not we would like to go and visit that place and get some filming done. So keep tuned in, folks, and we'll let you know how that process is going.
Definitely so.
Because my personal perspective on that is that it seems to me that I'm very curious about why white people are so fearful of their protecting whiteness. I mean, what's the point? I don't quite get it. I know they have some justifications and reasoning for it in their minds. To me, it seems like it's all based on fear, perhaps not great information about why they should be fearful or need to be separated. I don't really understand it at all. So I'm hoping that we can go and visit these people and get some candid conversation going between us and find out, why they feel this way.
I would hope that we could have somebody come on our podcasting business and
Oh, that's
tell us what makes them so uncomfortable
mm-hmm.
about being just and
Yeah.
fair.
Well, we happen to know two people that are good at filming and video making and editing and production. And I think that if we're fortunate, we'll have them accompany us to this location to talk to the people that live there.
I look
Try to
forward to
set it up in advance so that it's all professionally filmed and a good quality presentation for us, for our audience. So I bet a lot of people are curious about these questions.
I would hope so. And
people of all ethnic backgrounds. I always talk about ethnicity as opposed to race. My strong opinion that I tend to reiterate on this podcast is I don't believe in racism because I believe there's only one race, that's Homo sapiens. We're all people, we're all humans. We vary because of the differences in the climates that our ancestors lived in for a long time. That's my opinion. And,
what you and I'll be able to do, Mark, at some point in the future, 26, is have a very comfortable disagreement about your definition of race that you don't believe in. We can do that.
Yes, we can.
We can do that.
Yeah,
that'll be fun. We'll rehearse it. We'll do some research and we'll learn something from each other.
Yeah.
That might make each other uncomfortable. And if it does it to us, we know that it will do it to our audience. And in doing so, we'll be making progress.
Right. Yeah, because if you're probably on the verge of learning something, this would be, in my opinion, you're probably on the verge of learning something new if you're very uncomfortable. If you're really comfortable and going along, you're just reinforcing what you believe based on what you've known so far, and it may not be a complete set of ideas, very likely, in my opinion. So
we're looking forward to the research and the presentation in 26. I learned so much that I want to share with you within the last hour from my son, who is not always vocally involved in the arts and television and podcasting and radio. But he shared some things with me that my daughters who are in the arts and in journalism, they'll never share it. So with my daughters, they're great teachers. But with my son, we just don't have much time together. But he comes through, boom, 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 very fast and sharp. And sends me to my Bible and to my dictionary to do some research and help me get better prepared for the next prayer.
Okay.
And I'm getting ready for the next prayer in January, the third Saturday, the Martin Luther King NAACP prayer breakfast. I'm getting ready for the opening prayer.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Well, I'm very likely going to be there myself because I'm also a lifetime member of the NAACP
You'll
myself.
probably be at my table on my left or right.
Yeah. If you've been with us before, you know that I am pretty much an agnostic, and my friend Elmer is very much a Christian, and we have different beliefs, and I think that's what Elmer was referring to earlier when we were talking.
That is correct. It makes us a great team.
The distinction and the definition of species, Homo sapiens, and why we may be different, so that'll be fun to hear Elmer's explanation of all that.
Well, we got a lot of challenges in our nation. We want to be sure that during this podcast that you get a chance to share some of those things with our same audience that I've been sharing with for the last 2 minutes.
Yeah. Well, if possibly we go a little bit longer on this section, we might split this up, and you'll see us editing it into 2 parts.
Very well.
But do you have a few more things that you wanted to reference, I think, on your list?
I have been on the radio, especially during the Christmas holidays, for many, many years.
Oh.
But I've been discouraged from being on the radio locally in Hot Springs in recent years since the last person who was manager or who was in charge of the station, he passed away, and so they have a new person there
Mm.
in Hot Spring. And I shared with him that I had a history of some points I'd like to make about the NAACP, and
Mm-hmm.
he shared with me that many in his audience didn't want to hear anything about that organization or the activities that involve our community. And if he continued it in the new position that he had on a local radio station here, that they would discontinue the advertising. So I haven't been on radio here in Hot Springs in the last 3 years.
So his advertisers are using intimidation tactics against the local radio station, saying, we're going to withdraw our advertising if you bring on Elmer Beard, who's talking about
The
NAACP.
NAACP,
Yeah.
the progress that we are making, the facts that Ronald Baptist Church was bombed and burned the 22nd day of December 1963, which makes yesterday be the anniversary of it. And I believe 37 plus 20 is 57, and 5 would be 62 years ago.
Wow.
I think it should be mentioned. It's a part of our history. As a result of that, we shouldn't forget it. Had it been First Baptist on Central, we'd still be talking about it.
Yeah. Well, I think my personal thinking here is that people who are afraid of knowing accurately history are actually people who are perhaps embarrassed, ashamed, or afraid of it.
Good point.
And they don't want to admit that our ancestors made any mistakes, which is preposterous because, you know, humanity and every person in the world that I've ever met has always made a lot of mistakes their entire life.
As you and I have. All of us.
Yeah, I lost count when I was about 2, I think. I mean, really, seriously, we obviously learning to live and being a good person is challenging. And so if we've done things in the past as a culture, as a society, as groups, vilifying other people because we are afraid of them, and I think that's almost always the justification. I hardly can imagine a situation where, yeah, I'm not afraid of these people, but I hate them. I think you really only hate things that you're afraid of. I don't.
And that you don't have knowledge of.
I think it's very difficult to hate something that you don't fear. You might be disgusted with it, you may not like it, but you don't have that strong hatred, And I think that just comes from people being separated. And I mean, I'm sure our ancestors,
classified.
See, now here's another area that we might have a little difference of opinion about the history of humanity. I would say all of us, as far as the record, the geologic record, it shows that all of us started on the African continent.
If we need to admit that first and then go forward.
We are all started on the African continent, and then some of our ancestors moved to the north. Some of them might have gone off in the ocean in different directions and so forth. But primarily, a lot of people went to the north. They lived there long enough to be actually differentiated. I would talk about Homo sapiens, and I would talk about Neanderthal and the Denisovans, and they were two groups that started from Homo erectus basically, and then the Homo sapiens actually evolved in Africa.
That is correct. If part of our history is correct,
now,
that fact is
be
correct.
careful about this because you might be stepping on your own toes.
The truth is the truth.
Okay.
And it should make us free.
Okay.
And freedom is very, 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 very expensive. Even if it touches me.
Yeah, I agree with you. So what I'm saying is that, when the different groups still identified, we have a lot of evidence of the Neanderthal having lived some 400,000 years in the European realm. They never existed in Africa. They evolved into Neanderthal after they got to the north. and they became a separate group. However, they were still related enough to the people who showed up later on, who were still very dark complected, and the Neanderthals probably had likely lighter skin because they spent more time in caves and under, in the shade, or trying to keep warm so they could survive. Whereas Africa was warmer, the north was much colder, so they had to wear a lot of skins and hats and stay in the caves. So there was value in them becoming lighter complected. So that's the argument that a lot of people will make in the scientific community, I think. And then when the people showed up from Africa who hadn't been with that group, they were the Homo sapiens coming in, and then they got together and mated with the Neanderthal. And so most of us who didn't stay in Africa have some up to somewhere around 2% Neanderthal genes in our blood.
We may want to share some of our records of our blood when we visit with this. I've got a copy of mine. Well, I believe it's called the DNA.
Yeah.
Yeah, and show what percentage that we are, what we're labeled. I have that around my birthday, and I share it with the audience.
Huh.
You have to pay for it.
Yeah. Who did you use for that?
Sonia, my daughter, did all of it, and it's not 99% true. It's 100.
Huh.
It's 100% true as to how I got to be where I am, and the percentage of all these different, you don't use the term races, that I am. I think I'm about 7 different races.
Yeah. The thing I would call ethnicities, because it's harder to say.
Okay.
I don't say it because it's harder to be. It is harder to say ethnicities than race. Race is a lot simpler. It's one syllable. But yeah, what you're saying is that the scientific record, your DNA analysis demonstrates that your ancestors came from different parts of the world at different times.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, they were black. BLACK.
And they were from
various parts of the East.
East European?
East world, universe.
Well, yeah, let's go with the world. Universe is a little different. Yeah. So they were further east, like here we are in Hot Springs, Arkansas. A long ways to our east, across the Atlantic Ocean, there are 3 significant continents.
It's going to be a lot of fun when you and I do this research and have a rehearsal, and then hopefully April come up with this great discussion about why Jesus Christ is so thin and beautiful and lean and white and stringy hair and blue eyes.
Blue eyes.
And a place in the world where everybody's black. It's going to be fun.
You think Jesus actually...
We'll be ready in April.
So, no, this is great. I love this conversation, and I think a lot of people might have fun with this.
I hope they're preparing to follow us up when we do this.
I wonder how likely it is, assuming that Jesus lived, and I don't, but you know he did.
I know he did.
I'm not certain.
I got proof of it right here, because I do not only exist, but capital L-I-V-E. Had it not been for him, that's the preposition phrase, you and I would not be sitting next to each other in this podcast right now, but we're right ahead.
Perfect. So I respect that.
Thank you.
You totally believe that, and I respect you, and I believe in you as a human being, as my friend. And I have a really different point of view about how I came to be. However, I would say that assuming your proposition is completely accurate, and that there was a human being called Jesus Christ who lived, was that his name?
Jesus Christ, the Savior of the world.
But that wasn't his last name. We don't know his last name.
He's Christ. He's a Savior.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be William or Beard or...
He doesn't have a last name that we know.
That we know.
Right. So anyway, let's just assume that is correct. And he was around about a couple thousand years ago.
Okay, we're agree on that.
So, and he was in the Middle East somewhere, Jerusalem, which was located on the map then when was that? Where was that? In the neighborhood of current day Israel or something?
Israel.
Yeah, it wasn't Israel then, but it is now. So in that neighborhood, my guess is that he would have been probably fairly dark complected and much more likely to have had brown or greenish brown eyes.
Black as tar.
You think it was black as tar?
No question.
African,
Yeah.
more recent African origin. The people that lived there.
That is
So
correct.
his people would have had that genetic makeup. Yeah. Okay.
The artist.
And he didn't
have
have
done a
blue.
great
He didn't
job.
have blonde hair and blue eyes.
Not at all. That was for the purpose of
And he wasn't born
capitalism
with
and
an
Western-
automatic weapon in his hands or any of those things that we've seen in the crazy modern era that we're in. Right?
That is correct.
Yes, we can totally agree on that. If he did live, he didn't have a machine gun, and he wasn't a violent person. Well, he did throw some tables around, maybe. No.
At a point where you necessary for the audience to know just who he was. We'll share more about that also.
Very
To be
cool.
angry is different from being mad. I couldn't afford to be mad to be at my age now. It interrupt my digestive system. I have to be open and honest and be able to eat and sleep most of the nights
Mm-hmm.
without nightmares
Yeah.
or discomforts. When I do something like this, I sleep so well at night. Feel like I've left some records
That's cool.
about some information that people need to know.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I love our conversations. I think they're always inspiring and kind of probing. We're challenging each other a little bit. You know, we're saying you have a certain set of beliefs, I have a different set of beliefs, and yet none of that makes us unable to or unwilling to be
Reasonable
friends.
with each other.
Well, we're also friends, and we can have a conversation about whatever we want to talk about with respect. We respect each other. What I wanted to say is that last night when I was at a meeting with a bunch of people celebrating their Christmas and so forth, I brought up the point that I went on the 250-mile bike ride with Ethan Dunbar, who's running for the U.S. Senate
Okay.
in Arkansas. And he and I and his brother all went on this tour. And we started in Piggott, Arkansas, and then ended up in West Helena, which it's a combined city, and it's about 250-mile bike trip over a 5-day period, and ended up visiting with a lot of people along the way. And what surprised, I think, all of us, and surprised me a lot in particular, is that both my friends, Ethan and his brother, are black. Obviously, I'm not, and we didn't get any negative feedback from anybody. We didn't get threatened. We didn't get intimidated. We didn't get insulted. Nothing. And furthermore, here we are riding along the road, so we're all very, very visible along the road. So people are passing us in their cars as we're pedaling our bicycles. We stopped at many, many farmhouses along the way. We were in the cotton region, the corn, all kinds of crops growing. Riding along the Delta region. It's the far eastern edge of the state of Arkansas, northeast. And we were riding from north to south. And we kept stopping and talking to people, just randomly, whoever. We would knock on the door, or they might be out in the yard. And we would say, Ethan would pull out his card and say, I'm Ethan Dunbar, I'm running for the U.S. Senate. I just wanted to come and meet people where they live.
That's right.
And we had many people say, hey, don't keep the card. I've never voted for a Democrat in my life. But 15 minutes later, after we were having a reasoned conversation, and I think important to note here, especially for my partner here, Elmer, was that people said, well, maybe I'll take that card.
Okay.
And they listened and they talked. But the important thing is that Ethan made very clear to them that he was a very Christian person, that he had his values were based on his beliefs, and that he believes in the rights of people. And they were talking about their economic conditions and the problems with farming and this and that. And they listened to Ethan's perspective on it, and they were very positive towards him, and they were open and receptive to what he was having to say. And this is, to me, this is contrary to what we learn every day on the filtered news systems.
Correct.
They say, oh yeah, these people are terrible, whatever, depending on who you're listening to. And the truth of the matter is, that's not the way it is. 100% of the people we talked about, not 98.5, all of the people we talked to were respectful, polite, courteous, reasonable, even if we didn't agree. And I got to the point where I started saying to people, I'll bet, even though I know you vote differently than I do and you believe something different than I do, I would say I think we have 85% or more of what we believe in common. And every single person agreed with that.
I would say that.
None of them said, no, I doubt it. Or no, I don't think so, forget about it. They all said, yes, I think you're probably right.
It was worth the 250 miles.
And I'm telling you, man, we learned some stuff, and we talked to people from all walks of life, black, white, Oriental, Native American, South, Mexicans, all kinds of people, different age groups, different genders, what have you. And nobody was rude or insulting. Nobody was denigrating. And we talked to ministers, we talked to lay people, we talked to farm workers, farm owners.
Poor people.
Poor people, that's right.
Property owners.
Very wealthy people in some cases, we talked to. And they were all having a conversation, like we have, a conservative conversation. We talk about conservatism from our perspective here, between Elmer and I. So one area that we very much agree on, I'd say, is that we believe in the Constitution. We believe in conserving the Constitution, the rule of law, the environment, civil rights, human rights, women's rights.
That never changes with us.
It's always,
we agree on that.
Yep. So it's pretty cool that we have that. Anything else?
I think that probably takes care of the matters that involve race. I like to say to people in my audience that when you get to my age or many years before that, you should get your wills ready, because I was studying that today and I thought I should make a point about it. Anytime we got to go to court, possibility everybody involved is going to lose. You should get your wheels set.
Thank you for reminding me, because I'm remiss in that.
You have to follow up on it. You can't do it and then leave for 10 years and your life has changed all along. Or near Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, I started checking to see if everything is like I had a year ago.
That's brilliant.
We didn't come here to stay. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Oh.
Yeah, it's title of my book.
We didn't come here to stay.
We're going to leave.
Yeah.
So
temporary visitors to the planet Earth.
We'll pass those by.
Yeah. Okay. Now, see, we can agree on that.
We can agree on that. I appreciate it too.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for coming. It was great. Let's have some more days.
Happy conservative conversation to everybody. Thanks for showing up. We'll see you next time.